Chosen one, there is a holy interruption unfolding in your life, and heaven is the one who initiated it. You are not here by accident. You were summoned into this moment by divine appointment, drawn into a timeline where God Himself is unveiling what has already been written over you. Anointed one, the signs around you are not imagination. They are confirmation that the God who restores, the God who accelerates, the God who lifts without warning, has stepped into your story with supernatural intent. You are standing at the threshold of a breakthrough that was preserved for its appointed time, just as it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, that the vision will come and it will not delay. What looked lost is being returned. What felt denied is being rewritten. What you thought was over is rising again under the weight of divine funding, moving in your favor. Chosen one, heaven is shifting outcomes, aligning steps, and preparing a transfer that cannot be stopped, because your future has already been safeguarded. And in the quiet places of your spirit, even now, you can feel the truth of it. Not every reminder arrives through words. Sometimes it comes as something still and steady, waiting to be found just beneath this moment. Chosen one, there is a reason your spirit has been feeling that quiet pressure, that subtle stirring, that refuses to let you settle where you are. Something holy is moving toward you, something that has been building behind the veil long before you ever prayed for help, long before you ever knew how deeply heaven had already committed to your future. Anointed one, what is unfolding around you right now is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration, timed with the same precision God used when He spoke light into darkness. You are standing in a threshold moment, and heaven is funding what comes next. I want you to hear this with your whole soul. There are seasons in life when you are surviving, pushing, enduring, trying to make sense of closed doors and silent nights. And then there are seasons, sacred ones, when God steps in and rewrites everything at once. I have lived long enough, prayed long enough, been humbled enough to recognize the difference. And chosen one, the atmosphere around you right now carries the same holy weight I have felt before every major breakthrough in my own life. The same shift that saved me from collapse. The same shift that lifted me in ways I could not have orchestrated with my own strength. That is the shift hovering over you now. Anointed one, everything they tried to use to limit you has become evidence against them in the courts of heaven. Every trap, every delay, every dismissal, every moment when someone underestimated your worth, God has gathered all of it into His hands, not to shame you with the past, but to resource you for the future. Heaven does not just restore what you lost. Heaven multiplies what you endured. I learned that in my own wilderness. I lived through moments where I thought lack had the final word, but just when I had nothing left to hold on to, God reminded me that the vision will surely come, just as it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, not fast, not slow, appointed. Chosen one, your appointed time is approaching like a rising storm of goodness, alignment, and supernatural provision. You may not see the full expression of it yet, but you can feel it. Something in you has been waking up. Something has been whispering. Get ready. Something in your chest has been burning. Even on the days when everything around you seems still, that is not intuition. That is not optimism. That is the inner witness of someone who has been marked for divine elevation. Anointed one, heaven is reviewing your endurance, your obedience, your character, your refusal to give up when every logical reason said you should have collapsed. And because of that, something rare is being released in your direction. A supernatural provision that cannot be explained by hard work or human strategy. It is something I have seen only a few times in my life. And when it comes suddenly. I want you to think back to the times you held on by a thread, the nights you tried to sleep but felt the weight of what you lacked pressing against your mind, the quiet places where you asked God if He still saw you. I have been in those trenches too. I have questioned myself. I have wondered if I misunderstood the path. But every single time, without fail, God revealed that the silence was not abandonment. It was construction. He was building capacity in me, stretching my spirit, strengthening the foundations of who I was becoming. And now, chosen one, He is doing the same in your life. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being positioned. This is why some doors did not open earlier. This is why certain relationships ended abruptly. This is why you felt isolated when you needed support the most. It was all divine classroom, spiritual training, heaven preparing you for the weight of what you are now ready to carry. Chosen one, you may not realize this yet, but your obedience in hidden seasons has accumulated spiritual equity. Heaven keeps records that earth does not see. Every time you stayed kind when cruelty hit your heart, every time you forgave instead of retaliating, every time you kept going when life offered you no applause. These moments were not wasted. They became currency in the unseen realm. And now that currency is maturing into supernatural funding, anointed one, the resources assigned to your name are no longer pending. They are active. I know this because I have lived through the moment when waiting turns into release, when prayer turns into manifestation, when endurance turns into elevation, and the signs around you, your sudden clarity, your rising inner strength, the unexpected peace that keeps touching your mind. These are all indicators that God is bringing you into a funded future, and this is not ordinary funding. This is not a small relief or temporary breakthrough. This is transformational provision, legacy-shaping provision, generational shifting provision, the kind that rearranges everything attached to your name, chosen one. Heaven does not fund noise. Heaven funds necessity. Heaven funds destiny. Heaven funds those who survive deserts without losing their oil. And you, anointed one, have proven that your heart can carry what your calling requires. This is why the pressure has increased. Pressure always precedes release. Pressure confirms proximity to breakthrough. Pressure reveals that the spiritual vault assigned to your name is beginning to open. Chosen one, the shift has already begun. Chosen one. There is a holy weight resting on this moment, the kind that only appears when heaven is preparing to unveil something long promised. If your spirit has been restless, if your dreams have been louder, if your inner world has felt like it is stretching beyond what your life currently reflects, that is because God is enlarging the territory within you before He expands the territory around you. Anointed one, what you have sensed is not imagination. It is alignment. It is preparation. It is the unmistakable vibration of a funded future drawing near. And I need you to hear me with clarity. You are not stepping into a season where God merely repairs what broke. You are stepping into a season where God recompenses you, restores you, rewrites the story with such precision that even the parts you never understood will suddenly reveal themselves as necessary pieces of a divine architecture. Chosen one, there were chapters of your life you thought were wasted. Years that felt swallowed by disappointment, moments where you tried to force outcomes that kept slipping through your fingers. I know that experience intimately. I spent seasons thinking I had ruined my chances, lost my timing, or fallen too far behind for anything meaningful to emerge. Yet every single time, without exception, God revealed that what I thought was stagnation was actually strategy. He was hiding me, refining me, pruning me, preserving me, and He is doing the same with you. Anointed One, heaven is not late. Heaven is precise. And for the first time in a long time, the timelines of heaven and the timeline of your readiness are beginning to overlap. That intersection, where divine timing meets spiritual maturity, is where supernatural funding is released. You may have looked at your life and wondered why you weren't further ahead, why the opportunities you prayed for kept slipping into someone else's hands, why you were always the one giving, supporting, encouraging, pouring, but rarely receiving the same in return. These were not punishments. They were assessments. God was testing the strength of your heart, testing your motives, testing your endurance, not because he doubted you, but because he intended to entrust you with more than you ever asked for. Chosen One, when God funds a person, he first measures their foundation, and your foundation, though cracked by life, though weathered by storms, has proven unshakable. You have stayed soft when life tried to harden you. You have stayed honest when shortcuts tempted you. You have stayed faithful when results were invisible. These are the traits heaven values. These are the traits heaven rewards. Anointed One, the funding coming to you is not merely financial, though financial resources will indeed flow. But before that, God is releasing clarity. Clarity that cuts through confusion, clarity that resurrects confidence, clarity that reveals the next step without fear. I remember when God began releasing clarity into my own life. It didn't arrive with fireworks. It arrived quietly, like the way dawn brightens a room before you realize the sun is rising. Ideas began to make sense. Peace replaced uncertainty. My inner voice strengthened, and suddenly I knew which direction I had been prepared to walk into all along. You are entering that same clarity now, Chosen One. Supernatural funding begins in the spirit long before it appears in the physical. Heaven makes announcements through intuition, dreams, sudden peace, unexpected boldness, divine restlessness, and the unraveling of old desires that no longer match your destiny. These are signs that provision is moving toward you, not away from you. And here is what you must understand. The opposition you faced recently, the strange resistance, the sudden distractions, the emotional pressure, these were signs of proximity, not danger. When you are close to breakthrough, everything tries to pull you back into old versions of yourself. Not because you are failing, but because you are transforming. I have lived through that internal battle many times. When elevation drew near, old wounds resurfaced, old fears whispered, and old habits tried to grip me. Not because I was weak, but because I was shedding identities that could not cross into the next season. Anointed One, you are shedding old identities right now. This is why your appetite has changed. This is why certain relationships feel misaligned. This is why conversations that once comforted you now leave you empty. God is removing what cannot hold the weight of your next level. Chosen One, you are entering a realm of provision where effort multiplies, where timing aligns itself, where people show up at the exact moment you need them, where doors open before you even knock. That is divine funding. That is supernatural favor. That is God saying, I am backing you. But hear this, divine funding does not move through chaos. It moves through alignment, and the alignment in your life right now is not accidental. It is the result of every season you survived, every lesson you absorbed, every tear you prayed through. You have been prepared, you have been tested, you have been stretched, and now you are becoming the version of yourself that can steward the blessing without losing your identity. Anointed One, the future you are stepping into will not resemble the path you walked to get here. Your past required survival. Your future requires strategy. Your past required endurance. Your future requires expansion. Your past required holding on. Your future requires stepping in. Chosen one, heaven is about to reveal who you truly are. And when this shift begins unfolding in your life, you will not question whether it is God. You will know the peace will be unmistakable. The provision will be undeniable. The doors will be unexplainable. The timing will be perfect. And your spirit will say, "This is the moment everything was preparing me for." Chosen one, there is a sacred reason your spirit has been sensing a pull, a shift, a quiet but undeniable summons into deeper territory. Heaven is preparing you for a realm of provision that does not look like anything you have ever walked in before. And anointed one, before the blessing manifests in the natural, God always strengthens the inner vessel. What he is funding in your life is too significant to rest on fragile foundations. So he has been fortifying you in ways you did not always understand. There were moments when you thought God was being silent, when it felt like the heavens were closed and your prayers were echoing back without answers. I know that feeling well. I have lived through seasons where I laid everything before God and still had no clarity. Seasons where I wondered if he had forgotten the promises whispered to my heart. But looking back, those were the very seasons where God was working beneath the surface, restructuring my path, removing what could not carry me, preparing my spirit to hold everything he had planned. Chosen one, that is exactly what he has been doing for you. Anointed one, you have been walking through a divine refinement disguised as delay. While you thought nothing was happening, everything was happening. Heaven has been pruning your steps, testing your motives, strengthening your resolve, increasing your discernment, and awakening your spiritual senses. The tests you faced were not punishments. They were proofs. Proof that you would not fold under pressure. Proof that you would not corrupt your assignment. Proof that you could be trusted with more. Chosen one, this is why you survived storms that were meant to break you. This is why situations that destroyed others did not destroy you. You were being shaped for an assignment far bigger than the challenges that came against you. And now that season of quiet testing is giving way to a season of supernatural revealing. But here is what most people overlook. When God begins funding a future, he often begins by shutting down what is not aligned. That is why certain opportunities dried up. That is why certain relationships faded. That is why doors that once opened easily suddenly closed without warning. God was not denying you. He was directing you. He was resetting the trajectory of your life so the blessing could land where your spirit, not your emotions, were guiding you. I remember seasons when everything around me seemed to unravel just before God elevated me. I didn't see it then, but now I understand the pattern. Heaven removes what cannot stand under the weight of the blessing. Heaven clears the space so the new can enter without competition. Heaven silences the noise so you can hear the whisper of instruction. Anointed one, that same divine pattern has been active in your life, whether you recognized it or not. Chosen one, the supernatural provision moving toward you is not the result of chance. It is the result of alignment. And alignment is not something you create. It is something you become. You have become aligned through endurance, through obedience, through staying faithful in the dark, through refusing to surrender your identity even when life tried to bury it. That is why heaven is backing you now. And let me tell you this plainly, what is coming will not be subtle. Heaven is placing a spotlight on your next chapter, not to celebrate you, but to reveal the God who carried you. The anointing on your life will speak louder than your words. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your resilience will draw favor. Your faith will pull resources from unexpected places. That is what it means to walk in a funded destiny. Anointed one, you must also understand that this kind of provision is not random. It is targeted. Heaven does not pour into empty ambitions. Heaven pours into purpose. Heaven funds assignments that build, heal, lift, restore, and transform. And you, because of everything you have lived through, carry a depth, a compassion, a vision that can be trusted with supernatural supply. This is why the weight of the last season felt so heavy. You were not breaking. You were expanding. God was stretching your spiritual capacity, so when the blessing arrived, you would not sabotage it, fear it, or shrink from it. You would stand in it with holy confidence. Chosen one. Some people around you will not understand this shift. They will not understand how you rose so quickly, how doors opened for you without explanation, how opportunities found you when you were no longer chasing them. They will forget the nights you cried, the trials you endured, the sacrifices you made when no one applauded. They will only see the elevation. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Favor does not require explanation, and here is a truth that may surprise you. The blessing coming to you is not only for you, it is for every life that will be touched by your obedience. The wealth, the clarity, the doors, the connections, they are being released because of the generations attached to your name. God is not funding a moment. He is funding a lineage, a legacy, a future that will outlive you. Anointed one, the shift you are about to experience is not just personal. It is generational. Cycles will break because of your yes. Scarcity will end because of your faith. Patterns that tormented your family line will dissolve under the weight of the blessing you are about to carry. You are the divine interruption. You are the turning point. You are the one heaven selected to rewrite what your bloodline thought was permanent. Chosen one, you are closer than you think. The spiritual vault assigned to your name is beginning to open. Provision is already in motion. People are already being positioned. Opportunities are already aligning themselves with your steps. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel it, like a shift in the wind before the clouds move, like a calm that settles before dawn breaks. This is only the unfolding. The fullness is still ahead. Chosen one, there comes a point on this journey where the promise is no longer a distant idea, but a living presence in your spirit, and yet the manifestation still feels just beyond reach. This is the part most people never talk about. The long stretch between revelation and fulfillment. The quiet middle where your faith no longer has the thrill of the beginning or the relief of the ending. Anointed one, heaven saw you in that stretch. Heaven watched you carry expectations that seemed heavy on some days and invisible on others. And heaven recorded every moment you remained faithful, even when nothing seemed to move. I know that place well. I have lived in the tension of knowing God spoke something, feeling it burn in my chest, watching signs confirm the direction, and still waking up to the same circumstances day after day. I have stood in that hallway between what was and what will be, and in that place I learned something that changed everything. The waiting is not empty. The waiting is not punishment. The waiting is where God builds the kind of endurance that can hold a blessing without collapsing under its weight. Chosen one, you have been in that sacred place, not stuck, prepared, not forgotten, strengthened, not overlooked, fortified. You didn't always feel strong, but strength was being formed in you in the mundane moments. In the mornings when you got up, even though your heart felt tired. In the nights you prayed, even when your words felt thin. In the conversations where you encouraged others while quietly wondering when your own breakthrough would arrive. These moments were not wasted. They became spiritual muscle. They became evidence of your readiness. Anointed one, What heaven is releasing now required a version of you that did not exist before the waiting. And only time, holy time, intentional time, could carve that version out of you. That season, when you felt suspended, when you felt like you were circling the same ground, when every step seemed small, those were the days heaven used to anchor you in faith rather than emotion. Because faith that depends on excitement is shallow, but faith that survives drought becomes unshakable. I remember a morning when I woke up with nothing left to feel. I wasn't angry, I wasn't hopeful, I wasn't discouraged. I was simply empty, and in that emptiness God met me. Not through a sign, not through a voice, but through a peace that settled without reason. It was in that quiet, at my most ordinary, that I realized heaven does some of its greatest work without spectacle. Anointed one, you have had similar moments. Days where nothing looked different. Yet something inside you whispered, "Hold on." That whisper wasn't you. It was the one who promised to finish what he started. Chosen one, endurance is not glamorous. It doesn't shout. It doesn't draw attention. It happens in the background of your life, in the places where no one claps for you. And yet, endurance is the very ground where miracles root themselves. Breakthrough comes to those who remain, even when their heart wants to flee. Provision comes to those who choose trust when clarity is still forming. Divine funding flows toward those who have proven they can be consistent, even when their circumstances are inconsistent. This is part of why heaven has chosen you. You are not here because you never struggled. You are here because you kept walking. You didn't abandon the promise. You didn't let bitterness poison your hope. You didn't let delay redefine your identity. Even when you questioned the timing, you never questioned God's character. And anointed one, that distinction carries weight in the unseen realm. There were days when your faith felt like a thin thread, yet you kept holding it. Days when blessings for others triggered wounds you thought had healed, yet you kept believing. Days when you looked at your life and wondered how a future as great as the one God whispered could possibly emerge from where you stood. And still, you kept showing up with integrity, with softness, with courage. That is the kind of heart heaven funds, chosen one. Endurance has matured you. It taught you when to speak and when to be silent. It taught you how to discern voices, your own, the enemy's and God's. It taught you that consistency is a spiritual force, not a personality trait. And now, because you remained consistent when nothing felt consistent around you, the promise has ripened. What once felt distant is now scheduled. What once felt impossible is now aligned. What once felt delayed is now right on time. Anointed one. I have learned something about long waiting seasons. Faith is often steadied not through dramatic miracles or constant explanations, but through simple, repeatable reminders, the kind that keep your spirit anchored when your emotions fluctuate. And one such quiet reminder has been placed gently below in the description. But hear this: your endurance has not been invisible. Heaven has remembered every tear, every prayer, every act of obedience you thought no one saw. You are stepping into a season where God responds openly to what you carried privately, where public favor meets private faithfulness, where the seeds you planted in silence rise in full view. Chosen one, you did not endure for nothing. You endured so that when the promise arrives, it will find you strengthened, grounded, and prepared. You endured so that the blessing will not overwhelm you, but elevate you. You endured so that your spirit, not your circumstances, determines your posture. What is coming is worthy of the endurance you have shown, and the endurance you have shown is worthy of the blessing that is coming. Chosen one. There is a moment in every divine journey when heaven begins to uncover what was once hidden, and suddenly everything you survived starts to make sense. The wait, the stretching, the silence, the refining, none of it was random. Anointed One, you have entered that moment. The air around your life is shifting, the atmosphere is different. Even if your circumstances look unchanged on the surface, something underneath them has already turned in your favor, and the reason is simple. Heaven is now honoring what you carried in private. For so long you lived in a place where you had to hold on to promises no one else could see. You carried visions that looked impossible to the natural eye. You believed for outcomes that didn't match the evidence around you, and while others judged your pace, heaven saw your posture. While others misunderstood your journey, heaven understood your assignment. Chosen One. This is why divine funding is now moving toward you like a river that has finally reached its release point. Anointed One, before a great unveiling, there is always a great quiet. Before God makes the next chapter public, He completes a deep work in the inner life. I know that season intimately. I have had years where everything external appeared still. Yet internally, I could feel God reshaping the structure of who I was becoming. It was subtle, almost unnoticeable day by day, but powerful in hindsight. And I see that same internal transformation in the timing of your life right now. There is a maturity in you that wasn't there before, a steadiness that wasn't formed by success, but forged by surrender. A clarity that didn't come from strategies, but from listening. You have learned to walk with God instead of rushing ahead. You have learned to trust His pace instead of forcing your own. You have learned that the promise is not fragile just because the process feels slow. Chosen One, that inner development has positioned you for what comes next. Heaven funds those who are ready, not in talent or resume, but in spirit. And your spirit is ready. It has been carved, stretched, humbled, anchored, and awakened. It has been tested in the dark, so it can stand in the light. When heaven releases blessing, favor, and supernatural provision, it does not release it into unprepared soil. It releases it into the lives of those who have proven they can steward increase without losing themselves. And that is you, Anointed One. The next chapter of your life will not resemble the terrain you walked through to get here. The wilderness was for your training. The waiting was for your strengthening, but the fulfillment, this next unfolding, is for your revealing. Heaven is about to make visible what you have carried invisibly for years. And here is the part that may surprise you. The shift will begin quietly, almost gently, not explosive at first, but steady, like a dawn that keeps expanding until you realize the whole sky has changed. You will see small alignments before big ones, unexpected yeses, conversations that open doors, people who remember your name at the exact moment favor is needed, ideas that drop into your spirit with divine clarity, opportunities that require no striving, only stepping. Chosen One. Supernatural funding often enters your life disguised as favor, clarity, timing, and connections. Money may be part of it, but it is never the beginning of it. The beginning is always spiritual. The beginning is always God whispering. Now, the beginning is always alignment forming, step by step. And I need you to know this. It is not happening because you were perfect. It is happening because you were faithful. You kept your heart tender, you kept your spirit watchful, you kept walking even when discouragement pulled at your feet. You kept believing even when hope felt thin. Those private victories are why heaven is moving publicly in your direction. Anointed One. This is also the season where God begins restoring what was taken from you. Not just in quantity, but in quality. Time you thought was wasted will return as acceleration. Opportunities you lost will return upgraded. Relationships that were removed will make sense in hindsight, and clarity will come where confusion once lived. God is not returning you to where you were. He is advancing you into what you were always meant to reach. Chosen one, this next stretch of your journey is marked by supernatural ease, not the absence of challenges, but the presence of grace that makes the path smoother than before. You will notice tasks feel lighter, decisions feel clearer, your steps feel guided. The confusion that once surrounded your direction will lift. The heaviness that once sat in your chest will dissolve. Because when heaven funds your future, heaven also escorts you into it. And let me tell you something from my own story. When God begins to move like this, it often doesn't feel dramatic. It feels right. It feels peaceful. It feels like the internal tension you carried for years suddenly loosens its grip. It feels like the way home feels, familiar, steady, undeniable. Anointed one, everything you endured has prepared you to carry this without shaking. Everything you learned has positioned you to rise without fear, and everything you surrendered has opened the door for heaven to now pour freely. The alignment is real, the spiritual momentum is building, and the provision that once seemed distant is approaching with divine precision. Chosen one, the next signs that appear in your life will not be random. They will be markers, signals, witnesses that heaven has indeed begun funding your future in full. And once it begins, nothing, no resistance, no delay, no confusion, no human decision can stop what God has already set in motion. Chosen one, there is a point in every divine unfolding where the atmosphere around you begins to shift before the evidence shows up in your hands. You may not be able to fully explain it, but something in your spirit recognizes that the ground beneath your life is no longer the same. Anointed one, you are standing in that place right now. Heaven has already initiated movements in your favor, and though much of it is still hidden from your natural sight, your spirit can feel the tremor of what is approaching. And here is what you must understand. When God begins to release supernatural funding and breakthrough, the first thing to change is not your circumstances. It is your awareness. You start noticing things you ignored before. You start sensing alignment where there used to be resistance. You start feeling a calm boldness rising inside you, the kind that doesn't come from confidence in yourself, but from confidence in God's timing. I know this feeling deeply. I have walked into seasons where nothing external announced change, yet internally I knew the shift had already begun. And every time, without fail, what my spirit sensed eventually manifested in my reality. Chosen one, your spirit is sensing correctly. Heaven is ahead of you. Heaven is arranging the next chapter with precision. Heaven is orchestrating resources, positioning people, and aligning opportunities that you could not have strategized even if you tried. You are walking into a chapter where the supernatural and the practical will intertwine so seamlessly that you will look back and realize nothing about your rise was accidental. Anointed one, the divine funding flowing toward you is layered. It is not a single blessing or a one-time relief. It is a sequence of divine interventions, each one unlocking the next. Heaven is not giving you a moment. Heaven is giving you momentum, and momentum is far more powerful than a miracle. A miracle touches an event, but momentum transforms a life. And I need to tell you this with clarity. Your momentum starts with identity. For too long, you were forced to operate beneath the truth of who you were. You dimmed your light to make others comfortable. You lowered your expectations to protect yourself from disappointment. You silenced your voice to avoid conflict. You lived smaller than the calling that pulsed beneath your ribs. But not anymore. Heaven is restoring your true identity, the one you carried before life wounded you, before betrayal hardened you, before disappointment trained you to shrink. Chosen one. Heaven is calling you back to the version of you that believed without hesitation, trusted without fear, dreamed without limits. That version of you was never naive, it was prophetic. That version of you knew that God planted something rare inside you. That version of you carried vision that others couldn't understand. That version of you felt chosen long before you ever heard the words spoken over your life. Anointed one, your identity is being resurrected. Not the broken parts, but the anointed parts. Not the fearful parts, but the faithful parts. And as identity is restored, authority is returning with it. You will notice that your decisions feel sharper, your discernment feels stronger, your boundaries feel more natural, your voice feels more anchored. These are signs that you are stepping into the spiritual authority required to steward the resources God is releasing. Chosen one, divine funding responds not to need, but to purpose. God is releasing provision because your purpose demands it. There is something you are meant to build, something you are meant to carry, something you are meant to release into this world, and heaven refuses to let lack stand in the way of a destiny that was written before your first breath. But provision also flows through protection. Heaven is not only sending what you need, it is shielding what you carry. Many of the losses you grieved were actually rescues. Many of the endings that confused you were divine interventions. Many of the delays that frustrated you were acts of mercy. I have seen this in my own life. Some of the things I begged God to keep were the very things standing between me and what He promised. And when He removed them, I didn't understand at the time, but later I thanked Him for saving me from what I could not see. Anointed one, heaven has protected you more than you realize. Heaven rerouted you before danger appeared. Heaven closed doors that would have drained your spirit. Heaven exposed motives you needed to see. Heaven removed people who could not go where you are going. All of this was part of the funding. God funds the future by protecting the vessel that carries it. And now, because the vessel has been refined, the future can be released. Chosen one, what is coming toward you is not only increase, but inheritance. You are stepping into blessings that were stored for an appointed time. You are stepping into opportunities that bypass normal timelines. You are stepping into favor that accelerates what should have taken years. You are stepping into clarity that reveals what confusion once hid. Heaven is not just giving you answers. Heaven is giving you access. Anointed one, the pressure you felt lately was not a sign of collapse. It was a sign of crowning. It was the final tightening before release. Every great shift carries pressure right before it manifests. I have lived through those moments where the weight felt unbearable, only to realize later that the weight was the sign that elevation was moments away. Chosen one, the weight has lifted. The release has begun, and nothing, no voice, no obstacle, no delay can stop what heaven has already ordained. Chosen one, there is a sacred shift unfolding across the landscape of your life, one that has been building quietly, layer by layer, beneath every prayer you whispered and every trial you endured. You may not have noticed it at first. Most people don't. Divine momentum never begins with noise. It begins with alignment. And anointed one, you are aligned in ways your past self could never have imagined. Heaven has already gone before you, and now the evidence is beginning to catch up with the promise. There are seasons when God moves so subtly that you only recognize his fingerprints in hindsight. And then there are seasons like this, when heaven steps forward with intentions so clear that even your doubts begin to lose their authority. You are stepping into a chapter where the supernatural will no longer feel distant. It will feel near, familiar, woven into the fabric of your daily life. That is what funded destiny feels like. Not chaos, not striving, but steady, holy inevitability. Anointed one, you have reached a point in your journey where heaven is no longer preparing you for the blessing. Heaven is preparing the blessing for you, and that shift is everything. It means the refinement is complete. It means the testing season has served its purpose. It means the internal work has matured into spiritual readiness. You are no longer becoming, you are stepping into what you have already become. But hear me, this moment did not arrive suddenly. It arrived faithfully. You walked through seasons that no one knew about. You carried burdens silently because you didn't want to add weight to anyone else's load. You navigated storms while still encouraging others to keep going. I know that terrain well. I have walked through days where the only thing I had left was a quiet belief that God had not forgotten me. Days where my heart felt worn, but my spirit refused to break. And, anointed one, that is what I see in you. Someone who endured without losing the softness that makes you usable in the hands of God, chosen one. This is why the next season will look nothing like the last. The spiritual economy around your life has shifted. You are stepping into a grace that multiplies what you touch, into a favor that reaches rooms your name has never entered, into opportunities that do not match your resume, but match your calling. Heaven is not elevating you because of who applauded you. Heaven is elevating you because of who you became when no one was watching. And I need to say this with clarity. You will not have to force what is coming. This will not be a season of pushing or persuading or proving. This is a season of walking, receiving, aligning, responding when God funds a future. He also lights the path. You will feel guided rather than driven, clear rather than anxious, anchored rather than scattered. That is the signature of supernatural backing. Anointed one, you are about to witness patterns in your life break open. Relationships will shift, opportunities will accelerate. Old battles will resolve, not through effort, but through divine intervention. Conversations will flow in your favor. Connections will appear without effort. It will feel like stepping into a river already moving, a current designed to carry you further than your feet alone ever could. But do not be surprised if some people around you grow unsettled by your rise. Elevation reveals more than favor. It reveals hearts. The same individuals who were comfortable with you struggling may not know how to handle you shining. Those who preferred you quiet may grow uneasy when your voice strengthens. Those who relied on your weakness may feel threatened by your strength. This is not warfare. This is separation. Heaven does not elevate without also pruning. Chosen one, let them fall away gently. Elevation demands spiritual space. You are walking into a realm where you cannot carry everyone who once walked with you, not because they are bad, but because your calling requires a depth they have not yet chosen to cultivate. You are not abandoning them. You are honoring the path God carved for you. Anointed one, as this new chapter unfolds, pay attention to the subtle confirmations, the ones that settle deeper than emotion. You will notice ideas arriving with clarity, desires returning with purpose, strength rising in areas where you felt weak before, peace settling where anxiety once lived. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that heaven has activated the next phase of your assignment. And let me say this gently. Do not underestimate the power of small signs. The kingdom rarely announces itself with thunder first. It announces itself in whispers that prepare you for the roar. I have learned, through many seasons of transformation, that the most profound shifts often begin with something simple, something quiet, something that seems insignificant until you realize it was the doorway to everything that followed. Chosen one. You are walking toward doors that have been waiting for years to open. Some of them were locked, not because you lacked access, but because you weren't meant to approach them too early. If you had entered before your refinement, the blessing would have felt heavy. But now, because your spirit has been strengthened, the blessing will feel like alignment rather than burden. Anointed one, the favor rising over your life is not delicate. It is durable. It is loud in the spirit, even if it arrives softly in your day-to-day. And you will know this season by one unmistakable sign: everything will begin to feel possible again. The hope you buried is waking. The dreams you paused are stirring. The courage you thought you lost is returning. The future you once questioned is approaching. Chosen one, heaven is not just funding what you will do. Heaven is funding who you are becoming. Your identity, your purpose, your authority, your voice. These are all being lifted in this divine alignment. And even now, more is unfolding beyond what you can see. Chosen one, there is a depth to this moment that cannot be measured by what your eyes see or your hands touch. Something holy is drawing near, something that has been maturing beyond your awareness, guided by a God who has never once abandoned his intention for your life. Anointed one, the final stretch before manifestation is always the most spiritually charged. It is where heaven assembles what belongs to you, and earth begins to feel the shift before it fully reveals it. You have entered that stretch. You may feel it as an unexplainable calm or a rising anticipation that has no logical source. You may notice your thoughts becoming clearer, your decisions sharper, your spirit more anchored. That is not random. That is the sign of a soul aligning with a future already funded in the courts of heaven. Chosen one, when God is ready to release what he promised, your inner life is the first place to be transformed, not because the blessing depends on you, but because you must be able to hold what is coming without shrinking back. And hear this, your spirit has grown. It has matured under pressure. It has deepened through storms. It has expanded through seasons when you carried more than anyone knew. I know what it is like to carry quiet battles while still showing up for life. The kind of battles that reshape you from the inside out, the kind that no one applauds, yet heaven counts every step as obedience. Anointed one, every unseen victory has now placed a demand on heaven for visible release. This is why you have felt a recent stirring, a sense that the old chapter is dissolving even before the new one fully appears. You may have noticed that certain desires have faded, not out of disappointment, but out of divine closure. You may feel less attached to what once defined you, not out of apathy, but out of spiritual elevation. You may even sense a pull away from places, people, or mindsets that once felt familiar. This is heaven repositioning you, gently removing anything that cannot travel into the future, being prepared for you. Chosen one, you are stepping into a realm where what once resisted you will now receive you, where what once seemed delayed will accelerate, where what once felt fragile will be fortified, and where what once felt impossible will become the baseline of your new normal. But understand this. Supernatural transfer is not only about what you gain, it is also about who you become. God is not just funding your vision, he is funding your transformation. Anointed One, this next season requires a different posture, one that is steady, not frantic, one that is rooted, not reactive, one that moves with purpose, not pressure. And what is remarkable is that you already feel this posture forming inside you. You have become more discerning, more aware, more anchored. You are no longer trying to outrun fear the way you once did. You are walking with a quiet authority that comes only from someone who has endured darkness and still chosen to trust the light. And this is why divine provision is being released into your path. Heaven only gives weight to those who can carry it without breaking themselves or others. And chosen one, you have proven in silence what many never prove in success, that your character is stronger than your storm, that your humility is deeper than your hurt, that your purpose is louder than your pain. Now the supernatural must follow. Anointed One, expect the unfolding to be both subtle and undeniable. Expect ideas that feel breathed into your mind. Expect opportunities that seem custom-shaped to fit your spirit. Expect moments of confirmation that arrive when you least anticipate them. Expect people to show up who carry keys to doors you didn't know how to open. Expect clarity to come where you once felt confusion. Expect provision to flow in ways that dissolve the fear you once lived with for years. You are not entering a season of striving. You are entering a season of receiving. But I must say this gently, your elevation will not be understood by everyone around you. Some will question it, some will envy it, some will misinterpret it. Others will grow distant because your growth confronts their stagnation. Do not be discouraged by this. When God shifts a person, relationships shift naturally. Not every separation is loss. Some are protection, some are pruning, some are preparation for greater alignment. Chosen One, you are not losing anything essential. Everything leaving now is creating space for what heaven is adding, and heaven is adding much. You will soon notice that blessings do not arrive one by one. They will begin arriving in clusters, in waves that overlap, in patterns that interlock, in timing that feels too exact to be human. This is how supernatural transfer reveals itself. Not with a single moment, but with a sequence that cannot be denied, and you, Anointed One, are ready. More ready than you have ever been. Your spirit knows it. Your atmosphere knows it. Even your fatigue knows it, because exhaustion often appears right before breakthrough. When the spirit is shedding the last remnants of an old season. Chosen One, lift your eyes inwardly. Heaven has not forgotten a single detail. The path you are stepping onto has been funded, prepared, fortified, and aligned long before today. And as you continue forward, you will see the unmistakable evidence of a God who finishes what he starts. The blessing is not coming. The blessing has begun. Chosen One, you are standing in the holy moment where silence turns into certainty and promise turns into motion. What was once hidden beneath years of endurance is now rising into sight. Anointed One, heaven has already released the command over your life. The vault is open, the path is lit, and the future that felt distant is now stepping into your present with divine precision. This is not the beginning of your blessing. This is the unveiling of what has been maturing for far longer than you knew. Walk forward with reverence, walk forward with confidence. You are not entering your next season empty-handed. You are stepping into it funded, backed, endorsed, and carried by the God who preserved you for this exact moment. Remain faithful, stay aligned. Keep your spirit open to the gentle nudges that guide you into prepared provision. What is coming will confirm everything your heart has been sensing. If this word awakens something in you, Anointed One, You are welcome to share your confirmation in the comments or remain connected for more prophetic clarity. And sometimes the reminders we need most are quiet ones, already waiting in the pinned comment or the description for the moments our spirit needs steadiness. Grace to you, chosen one. Your future is unfolding now.